Hi, in this video, we are going to review about the connector reference, so what we have available in the documentation. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna read all those things for you, and along with that, I'm gonna show you where you can set it in the studio. So first of all, the parameter is the name for the default. It is this all the details for the name of for the configuration, like the configuration we are going to set for the JMS, the name of the configuration or encoding we are going to set. By default is UTF-8. Then what content type we are going to set, send or receive. Then if we are going to send a correlation ID is something which uniquely identifies an event or a transaction. Like whenever a mule flow starts, it's an event. So a mule flow or a mule work in the flow in the way of events. So the relation ID which uniquely identifies that thing is known as correlation ID. So let me go back here in the studio and let me just show you all these things. So I'm here in the connector configuration. So let me just click add it so that you guys can see. So there is name, then the connection. If you go here in the connection, we have two connection, ActiveMQ and generic connection. MuleSoft provides out of the box ActiveMQ connection, whereas there is generic connection, which we'll discuss in another video. And then we have some required libraries for simply we use ActiveMQ client, whereas the ActiveMQ broker and CardDB has different purposes, which we will discuss in other video. Then we need to specify which specification are we going to use, like this. Then there is some caching strategy. As you know that what caching is, so but the default is a caching strategy. If we don't want any caching, so we can just put no caching. Uh, so we can also put caching here, which is the default thing. And we can also set cache and size, and we can cache producers and consumers, or we can uncheck that. This was by default. I didn't do anything. Then there will be username and password, and if there's a client ID, so you can configure client ID as well. There are three options. Factory configuration, you can use the bean reference as well. Add it inline. Inline was the simplest one, so I just used that. Then there is initially delivery delay and delivery delay. If you just want any delay in your the delivery, then you can just set it, and you can set max delivery as well. Like you can set to 10, like how many times you want to redeliver it. Default is 0. Um, then there is connection factory as well, which again you can do. I've been reference added in line, but I didn't do it because it was not required here right now. And then we can start encoding as we discussed in the content type. This means the content can be any of type, and correlation ID it's auto. Sometimes it will send, sometimes it will not. It's up to its perfect thing. And also want to let you guys know one more thing, that the default configuration are the best suited for the performance of the JMS connector. That's what MuleSoft suggests. If we go in the consumer, then we have acknowledgement mode, that how are we gonna acknowledge the consume message. So we have troops, okay, immediate, manual. We have discussed them. What are these acknowledgement? Then we can set default consumer type as well. And it also suggests to use the same configuration for like almost all of the JMS connectors, or the JMS operations used in the application, because it improves the performance. Then we can select the selector as well. Selector is to filter the messages which we want to take from the queue. Some if we want like the priority queue, so we can just put priority queue, which priority we want to take. And maxi delivery, we already discussed that how many times if a message is not read properly, so how many times it could be redelivered. Then there's the producer thing. Then if we are producing a message, so in which queue it's to put, and how many time will it live in the queue before it get expired if someone has not picked the message. So for how many seconds or how many milliseconds will it live. So these things are default. Then we can disable message ID, disable timestamp if we want, and if you want delivery again, and we can also specify JMS type here. This is again one of the property of the message, so we can set it here as well. Then we have expiration policy for the connector as well. If we want to the that the configuration, if we want configuration to get expired by some time, so we'll use this. Otherwise, we don't need it. Then we can write some comments here, and if we read to some documentation, we can read some comp documentation here. So I'm not doing anything right now. So let me go back again here. We have discussed expiration policy, act mode, consumer type, selector, maxi delivery, persistent delivery. We have also discussed those. Now let's go to the operations. We have three operations: consume, publish, consume. Then we have listener. We discussed listener in other videos. But configure destination from where to read, consumer type topic or queue consumer, then acknowledgement mode, which acknowledgement you want to use. We have already discussed the maximum wait time, how much time we want to wait for a message. So transactional action, this is what a transaction. If we want something target variable when we are getting a value, so where we need to store instead of payload, we can set it as well. Reconnection strategy, how wanna we reconnect.